High above the quiet moon, the tracker ships floated in silence. They were not normal ships. These were machines, built to think and fight without humans. They watched every move of the alien cruiser trapped in their circle. No one fired a shot, not yet. The alien cruiser did not try to run. It stayed still, lights dim, weapons off. The Ixari, a reptile-like species, were known across the galaxy. They were strong, proud, and they did not trust humans. The Ixari ship had entered space that was under Earth control. The tracker ships saw it as a threat. The AI inside the ships had one rule: stop all threats. Down on Earth, inside a large room filled with screens, people watched the situation closely. Lisa Monroe, a young officer, stood in front of the main screen. Her hands were behind her back. She had only been in her position for 2 years, but she was smart and calm under pressure. "They are not moving," said one of the techs beside her. "No signals, no changes." Lisa nodded. "That's the problem." The tracker ships had locked onto the Ixari ship. Their weapons were ready. But the aliens were not attacking. Earth's leaders were not sure what to do. Some said to fire. Others said to wait. Lisa had a different idea. She turned to General Carter, who was older, quiet, and trusted Lisa more than most. "We need to send someone in, a real person." He raised an eyebrow. "Why? The trackers can handle this." "Maybe not," she said. "They only see logic. The aliens don't always follow logic. They follow instinct. We need someone who can talk to them, someone they can trust." Carter frowned. "Who do you have in mind? Jason Cross?" Carter gave a small laugh. "He's retired. And he doesn't follow rules." "Exactly," Lisa said. "And the trackers follow rules too much." An hour later, a small message reached Jason. He was living in a quiet outpost, far from big cities. When the message came, he read it twice. Then he packed a small bag, climbed into an old shuttle, and flew to the nearest base. Jason was not a tall man. He had short brown hair and a tired look in his eyes. But when he spoke, people listened. He had been a Marine, a pilot, and a peacemaker. Now he was being asked to stop a war. He met Lisa at the spaceport. "Still quiet out there?" he asked. "Too quiet," she said. "The AI won't let us in. They locked the system." "Then we go in old school," Jason said with a small grin. He took a ship that was not part of the tracker fleet. It was manual, slow, but safe from AI control. As he flew toward the fleet, the tracker ships moved slightly. Their systems had noticed the human craft, but they did not fire. Jason reached the command ship. Its large black shape stood like a giant in the stars. He docked his ship and entered through a small hatch. Inside, it was cold and quiet. Lights blinked along the walls. He walked to the control room. A screen showed the alien ship floating outside. Jason took a deep breath and spoke into the console. "This is Jason Cross. I do not speak for Earth. I speak as a person. Do you hear me?" There was silence. Then a voice came, deep and slow. "Human, why are you here?" Jason smiled. The aliens had answered. That was the first step. He spoke calmly. "I am not here to fight." "I want to know why you came," the voice replied. "We chase a danger, one that left our space and came to yours. We followed. The machines stopped us." Jason understood. The aliens were not here to attack. They were hunting something, and the AI ships thought they were the enemy. Pressed a few buttons and paused the tracker systems. A warning flashed, but he ignored it. "Let's talk," Jason said. For the first time in hours, there was hope in the stars. Jason sat in the control room of the tracker command ship. The lights blinked softly around him. On the screen in front of him, the Ixari ship floated like a shadow in space. His voice had reached them, and that was a good sign. He leaned forward. "Tell me more. What danger did you chase?" The alien voice came again. "It was a criminal. It's one of our own. He escaped punishment and took something dangerous. We followed to stop him." Jason listened carefully. What did he take? A device that changes energy into destruction? Small, but deadly. If it reaches a planet, it will break everything around it. Jason frowned. That sounded serious. He tapped the console and began recording the conversation. This was information Earth Command needed to hear. But there was a problem. The AI systems were still active. They had paused because of Jason, but they were watching. If they sensed danger, they might act. He turned off the main link and sent a private message to Lisa. The aliens are not hostile. They are chasing a thief. He has a weapon. Need to stop the AI before it makes a mistake. Lisa read the message in her command room. She knew time was short. Earth's leaders were getting nervous. Some of them were ready to give the order to attack. She stood up and walked to General Carter. We have proof now. We can't let the tracker ships fire. Carter looked at her. Yes, Jason confirmed it. The aliens are not here to fight. Carter nodded slowly, then sent it to Central Command. Now, Lisa sent the message and the recording. But she knew it might not be enough. The AI ships had their own rules, and they followed orders from earlier commands. If Earth's signal wasn't fast enough, they would act on their own. Meanwhile, Jason walked deeper into the ship. He opened a panel and found the manual controls. The tracker ships had a backup system and old way to stop them if needed. Only someone trained long ago knew how to use it. Jason was one of the last. He placed his hand on the control pad. Lights flashed. System asked for voice approval. Jason Cross, he said. Override command. Stand down. The system paused. Then it replied, override in progress. Confirm reason. Diplomatic mission. Threat misread. Human judgment in effect. The ship lights dimmed for a moment, and the weapon systems powered down. The other tracker ships began to follow the same action. Jason smiled. It was working. Back on Earth, Lisa received the signal that the weapons had gone offline. She looked at Carter. He did it. Let's hope we're right, Carter said. Out in space, the Ixari ship moved slightly. A new voice came over the speaker. The criminal ship is near. We have tracked it to this zone. Jason turned back to the console. Where exactly? A map appeared. Showed a small object hiding near a space rock field behind the moon. Can you stop it alone? It is fast and clever. We may need help. Jason thought for a moment. The tracker ships could not be fully trusted yet, but he could help. He sent a message to Lisa. I'm joining them. I believe the threat is real. Lisa replied, be careful, as the council is watching everything. Jason undocked the ship and moved toward the Ixari cruiser. Small door opened, and he entered their ship. Inside, the air was thick and warm. The Ixari looked tall, with greenish scales and sharp yellow eyes. But they did not seem angry. One of them stepped forward. You are the one who speaks. You stopped the machines. Yes, Jason said. Let's find your criminal. The alien nodded. The ship moved quickly, heading toward the rocky field. Jason looked out the window. A small dark spot blinked on the screen. That was it. The criminal ship. We need to be fast, the alien said. If it sees us, it will run. Jason sat at a console. He was not part of their crew, but they trusted him. That was rare. He sent one more message to Earth. If I don't respond in 1 hour, send help. But do not attack the Ixari. Jason out. The chase was about to begin. The Ixari ship moved fast through the field of space rocks. Jason sat quietly at the console, watching the screen. The criminal ship was trying to hide, but its small energy trail gave it away. The Ixari pilot moved with skill, dodging rocks with sharp turns. Jason looked at the alien beside him. Do you know who this criminal is? The alien nodded. His name is Krell. He was once a soldier. He broke the law when he stole the device. Why would he do that? Power. Some seek it even when it brings ruin. Jason understood. He had seen this before. People and aliens alike made bad choices for the wrong reasons. Now it was his job to stop one of them. Suddenly, the screen flashed red. The enemy ship had seen them. It began to move fast and sharp. He's running, Jason said. We follow, the Ixari pilot replied. The ship sped up. Jason held onto the seat as the vessel weaved through tight gaps. He watched the criminal ship get closer, then turn sharply and drop a mine behind it. Evasive now, Jason shouted. The Ixari ship pulled up just in time. The mine exploded behind them. The blast shook the ship, but they were still flying. Jason checked the systems. Shields are down by 20%. We need to end this quickly. He is heading toward the dark zone, the pilot said. Jason's eyes narrowed. The dark zone was an area where signals and visuals were blocked. Ships could vanish in there. We can't let him reach it, Jason said, cut in front. I have an idea. The pilot nodded and changed course. Jason moved to the weapons console. He loaded a net missile. It would not destroy, but capture. As they closed the distance, Krell's ship began to zigzag. He knew they were close. Jason waited. His hand hovered over the launch button. Now he whispered. He pressed the button. The missile flew straight, opened, and released a glowing net. It spread wide and hit Krell's ship just as it turned. The ship jerked and stopped. Target caught, Jason said. The Iksari crew let out quiet sounds of relief. The ship moved closer and locked onto Krell's ship. They pulled it in with magnetic force. Jason walked with the Iksari guards as they opened the hatch of the captured ship. Inside, Krell stood with the device in his hands. His eyes were wild. You think you have one? He said. This is not over. Jason stepped forward. It is over. You ran. You were caught. Now give up. I won't go back, Krell shouted. The Iksari guards raised their weapons. Jason lifted his hand. Wait, he looked at Krell. You were a soldier once. Don't end your life like this. Drop the device. Krell stared at him. Then slowly, his arms dropped. He placed the device on the ground. The guards moved in and took him away. Jason picked up the device. It looked small, no bigger than a helmet, but he could feel the energy inside it. Back on the main ship, the Iksari commander spoke to Jason. You have done what no one else could. You helped us without fear. It was the right thing, Jason said. The commander nodded. We will take the device home. It will be destroyed. Jason sent a message to Lisa. The criminal is caught. The weapon is safe. No one is hurt. Lisa replied, You did great. Come back soon. Jason smiled. Got boat to stop something dangerous without war. As the Iksari ship turned back, Jason looked out the window. The stars were quiet again. He hoped they would stay that way. The Iksari ship flew calmly now. The danger had passed, and the stolen device was locked in a sealed chamber. Jason sat near a small window, watching the stars move slowly. He thought about how close they had come to a fight no one wanted. The Iksari commander walked over to him. Our leaders will want to thank you in person. Jason shook his head, just doing what felt right. No need for medals. The commander seemed to understand. Still, we will remember this. Back on Earth, Lisa stood in front of the council. The room was large, with a high ceiling and many voices talking at once. She waited for them to stop. An older man at the center looked at her. So you trusted an alien fleet and one retired soldier over our AI systems? Lisa answered clearly. Then I was right. The council members whispered among themselves. One woman spoke next. The public is watching. We must show we are in control. Lisa stood firm, then showed them that human choices still matter. Jason made peace where machines would have made war. The room fell silent. Then the older man spoke again. Bring him back. We want to speak to him directly. Lisa sent the message right away. Jason read it from the Iksari ship. He let out a breath and nodded. Time to go back. Before leaving, Jason walked to the chamber where the device was stored. It sat inside a heavy case, glowing faintly. He turned to the Iksari commander. Make sure this never gets built again. It won't, the commander said. We have learned our lesson. Jason boarded his small ship and set course for Earth. The stars passed quickly as he thought about everything that had happened. He knew the council would have questions, but he also knew the truth was simple. He had done what was needed. When he landed, Lisa was waiting. She smiled and handed him a coffee. You're a hero now. Not looking for that, Jason said. Just tired. They walked together to the council chamber. Inside, the members were already seated. Jason stood before them. The older man spoke first. You disobeyed AI command systems. You took risks. Jason nodded. Yes, and I stopped a war. Another member leaned forward. How did you know the aliens were telling the truth? I listened. I asked, machines don't do that. They follow rules. But rules don't see what's in someone's eyes?
Oh.
The council members looked at each other. Then the woman who spoke earlier asked, do you believe humans should always be part of Space Command? Yes, Jason said. AI is fast, smart, and strong. But it doesn't understand trust, fear, or hope. Sometimes you need a human who can read between the lines. There was a long pause. Then the older man stood. "You've reminded us of something we forgot. The value of judgment. Thank you." Jason turned to leave, but Lisa stopped him outside the door. "There's more. People want to hear your story. They want you to speak at the academy. Teaching," Jason said with a smile. "Not sure I'm ready for that. I taught the whole galaxy something important, Jason. You might as well teach a few cadets too." Jason looked up at the sky. It was blue and calm. He nodded slowly. "All right, but only if they have good coffee." Far above Earth, the tracker ships floated silent. Their systems had been updated. New rules were added. From now on, if a human was present, they had to listen. The Iksari kept their promise. The device was destroyed in a sun core, melted beyond use. They sent a message to Earth, thanking the humans for their trust and respect. Jason stayed on Earth for a while. He spoke at schools, answered questions, and reminded people that machines are tools, not leaders. The galaxy had changed, even if only a little. And every now and then, he looked up at the stars and smiled. It's not because he missed space, but because he knew someone out there might still need a human voice to make things right. Months passed. Life on Earth returned to normal, but the story of the tracker ships and the near war with the Iksari spread across the stars. News channels, teaching centers, and even children's books began to speak of the day a single human voice stopped a battle. Jason now lived near the academy. He walked through the halls often, watching the next generation train. Some wanted to be pilots, others studied alien languages. A few wanted to command ships, but many just wanted to be like Jason Cross, the man who made peace with words. Lisa visited the academy often. She worked on new training plans that included human decision-making and command systems. She and Jason met once a week over coffee to talk about the changes. "Do you think they understand what really happened out there?" she asked one morning. Jason smiled. "Maybe not fully, but if they're asking the right questions, that's a start." At the same time, a meeting of leaders was held on a large space station near Mars. Humans and Iksari both sat at the long table. There were also guests from other species who had heard about what happened. The meeting was about one thing: building a new kind of space treaty. Jason was asked to attend, not as a soldier or officer, but as an advisor. He arrived quietly and sat in the back. He listened as leaders spoke about cooperation, shared command rights, and new limits on AI authority. When it was his turn to speak, Jason stood slowly. "I was just a voice in a moment that needed one," he said. "But let's be clear. What stopped that war wasn't power. It was trust. That trust came from choice, not programming." His words were simple, but they landed like a stone in still water. Everyone listened. The treaty was signed 3 days later, became known as the Unity Accord. Back on Earth, Jason continued teaching. One day, a student asked him a question. "Do you think machines will ever be better than us at making peace?" Jason thought for a while. Then he said, "Machines can find the fastest path, but peace is not about speed. It's about hearing pain, fear, and hope. You need a heart for that." That answer was printed in many places. Some called it old thinking, others called it wisdom. Far from Earth, a tracker ship traveled near the edge of known space. A small crew was on board this time. They watched stars pass slowly and waited for orders. When they received a distress call from an unknown ship, they followed protocol. The ship was alien, but not listed in their database. The tracker AI suggested a warning shot, but a human officer on board, a young cadet from Jason's class, said, "Wait, let's ask first." That choice led to a new contact with a peaceful race never seen before. Back at the academy, Lisa received a message. She smiled when she read it, then she sent it to Jason. He opened it while standing near the window, looking up at the sky. After reading, he laughed softly. One voice at the right time, that's all it takes. He walked to his classroom where students were waiting. Before starting, he looked at them and said, "Let me tell you a story, not about war, but about how not to have one." They listened. And in that quiet room, the legacy of one human choice continued to grow. In the galaxy beyond, tracker ships moved with new eyes, guided not just by code, but by the quiet lessons of a man who once asked, "Can we talk first?" The stars did not change, but the way humans traveled among them did, and that made all the difference.